But I think another factor, though, is a lot of people aren't doing premarital. And then if they do premarital, one, they either do it in like a large group setting. Two, if they do it individually, it's very few sessions. Three, it's not being like for me, the right questions aren't being asked to people.
It's like surface level.
Honey, like when I do premarital
checklist kind of thing.
When I do premarital with couples, like they be about to fight sometimes because it's like I let them know like my primary mission is to not get y'all married. Like I want you to go through this process and choose not to get married. So I'm gonna bring out the stuff. I'm gonna poke at stuff. I'm gonna be God. I ain't no devil's advocate. I'm gonna be God's advocate and all. Bro. I'm about to bring some issues. Why? Honey.
Yeah.
And so if I can intentionally and proactively bring this heat, this fire, this stress, this pressure, these uncomfortable conversations, and force you guys in a situation where you have to be naked, you have to be open, you have to be transparent, you have to be vulnerable, and make a decision on whether or not you actually want to be with this person after fully seeing this person. If the answer is yes, y'all good. Marriage is gonna be
right. You good.
Like you good.
Yeah, you got it.
With me having to relearn, reprocess, rethink what sex was, that was like taking a part of my identity away.
Just because you may need to seek help or you may be in transition and things may not be right, it doesn't necessarily mean that your marriage is bad.
Marriage is a roller coaster ride that never ends.
From the twists of having children, to the turns of overly involved parents, or the highs of buying a new home, to the lows of unexpected lifestyle changes.
Marriage is dope, but let's be honest, fam. Marriage really be tiring.
Welcome to the Left Hand Gang podcast, hosted by Jazz and Spoon.
Yo, what's good, everybody? It's the Left Hand Gang.
What up, gang?
Hey, girl, you fine.
I appreciate it, baby.
You know I say it every episode.
You do.
Because I mean it.
And you know what? That's necessary.
Is it?
It
Tell
is.
me why.
Because like we're quick to like act like, oh, you know, because it's doing the same thing all the time, you know, like maybe it's mundane, but we need to know that our spouse loves us. Like we need to say those things out loud and not assume it. Because if you ain't said I love you or baby you look good in a while, and then I started checking, I'm like, wait, it's been a week, it's been 2 weeks, and I start feeling some type of way, you know, and then it brings up other stuff. So I appreciate it, baby.
Oh, of course.
Thanks.
Of course. I'm glad.
Thanks for reminding me.
I was glad. I mean, it's a reminder to me too. When I say it to you, it reminds me
that you chose
that
good.
I chose good.
Touché.
You know,
I'm glad you're still pleased with your selection.
Yeah, me too. Me too. In Jesus' name.
Yes. How you doing?
Oh man, I am good. I'm busy.
Of course.
You know, I got a date today.
You have a wedding today.
Yeah, I got a wedding.
DJ Spoon is coming back out tonight.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
You popping out.
I'm just going to pop out and go on back in. Do what I need to do. And I thank God for this one because it literally just fell in my lap.
Yeah.
Literally called me on Monday.
Literally.
And yeah, so I'm very appreciative of that. And and I want to say this real quick. I'm really appreciative. We are really appreciative for all you people who've listened, who's been tapping in with us, and who've just randomly been blessing us out of nowhere. Like, man, I wish that I could like say to everybody right now live, but it's a whole lot of y'all. That I could just say thanks, appreciate, love, all of that stuff.
Thank y'all for blessing our house. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate every last one of y'all. So, man, yeah.
Baby, I'm ready.
You ready?
Yes, let's go.
All right.
We ain't got no announcements, no agenda.
No, nothing.
No,
nothing.
Who we got with us today?
We got my brother from another mother. My brother.
Y'all go back.
Yeah, we go back, man. I've been knowing this man since I guess I was 19, he was 18. We go way back. So how old am I now? 30, finna be 34. So over a decade of friendship, over a decade of brotherhood. That's crazy, bro.
Y'all were different people in those seasons.
Completely
Y'all had to have been. Because 19 Jazz and 31-year-old Jazz are not the same.
Man. So yeah, 14 going on 15 years. Man, this guy right here. Wow. My brother, the doctor.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't
The
do
one
that.
and only.
Nah, my brother Carrington Brown. What's happening, man?
I'm excellent, man. Excited to be here, bruh. Excited
Man,
to be here.
Why you always smiling?
Oh man, mirror neurons.
Yeah, is
Right?
that it?
It's
Is it the mirror
The
neuron?
way that we created as people,
Uh-huh.
it's very difficult to have somebody smile at you and them not smile
Yeah,
back. Right?
exactly.
So just being light as somebody else's day,
Yeah.
and then I just like smiling.
Yeah,
I
my
love
man.
that.
You feel me?
He already done went, educational, talking about mirror neurons. People don't even know what mirror neurons are. We know, but
I didn't, but I used my context clues in the moment.
Yeah,
to pick it up.
yeah. So mirror neurons. That's y'all's homework for the day.
Look,
Go
Google it.
Google
Touche.
mirror neurons. They're actually pretty dope, really, because that's just how God created us. It's crazy.
100%.
Like God
100%.
created mirror neurons for us to even. Another conversation, man. How you doing today, brother?
If I had to put it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm about a 9.1 right now.
That's good.
About a 9.1.
That's good, man. That's
Yeah,
good.
bro.
So, you do a whole lot, and I mean, you got a lot going on. You juggling so many different things, and you juggle them so well.
so well.
I appreciate
with a
that.
smile
So
on your
smooth.
face.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
It be challenges sometimes, but hey,
Yeah.
God is good, man.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little hurt though, cause your other half ain't here.
Yeah.
I'm really missing my dog
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
And she texted me this morning and was like, "Hey, what time is that podcast again?" And then she was like, "No, I'm not gonna be able to."
I wish you would
Ah,
have.
man.
Look, post babies.
Yeah,
Let's try to spin
Yeah.
the block real quick
Right.
when the
Yeah.
babies come.
When the babies
Yeah.
come,
Yeah.
So,
We miss you, Ash.
yeah, we do. I really was thinking in myself. I was really praying like, God, please let her show up.
He literally said he was like, "You
I
think
feel like
maybe
they
you think maybe Ashley will change her mind, like, and she'll come."
Right. Yeah, I miss my sister. So, but man, congrats on the twins.
Yes.
Appreciate it, man.
Double
And
blessing.
double blessing.
Man, I'm excited about it. It was an answered prayer.
Yeah, really.
Like,
Really?
One, when we were going back to when we first started, got married in general, like we chose not to use birth control, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I was
Reason
counting.
why we like
He's counting.
we like if you look at the situation of people getting pregnant, not getting pregnant, it's like somebody will have sex one time and get pregnant, then somebody will try
Right.
for years and that not happen.
Right.
So for us, it's like when it comes to sex and pregnancy, in some way, shape, or fashion, yes, you can do the thing that you're supposed to do, the actual act, and the baby comes.
Yeah.
But then it's like when you in tune with the Holy Spirit and navigating as a child of God and in His will, He gonna make that thing happen when it's supposed to.
Yeah.
So because of that, it's like we ain't about to use no nothing. So her getting pregnant was not an intentional thing.
Right.
And we had been talking on and off about having more kids, not having more kids. And so even with that though, Ashley, since we got married, has been talking about twins.
Really?
Really?
Aw.
Okay.
Then when we found out that she was pregnant, I don't know if y'all saw the reel, but at the end of the reel, I was like, man, I hope it's twins because I ain't
Yeah.
doing this again. So the reason I said that though is because she's like an even number person when it comes to kids. So she's like,
Okay.
everybody needs their playmate. So she's like, I'm not having 3 kids. It's going to be 4.
You gotta
when we
have 4.
one. So even before that, like Ashley was praying for it. Like she was praying for it. Then after we found out she was pregnant, we both started praying for it. So going into the sonogram and
Wow.
seeing this pocket over here, then another pocket, and I'm like, that's kind of interesting. What does
Wow.
that mean?
Never seen
This-
that before.
Right? I'm like, it looked like what I think it looked like, but is it what I
'Cause you
look
already
like,
2
Lord?
kids in, so
Right.
you know what it's
100%.
supposed to look like
100.
already.
And then when she expressed that we're having twins,
Wow.
and Ashley jumped up, started crying.
Oh.
And then I was cool until we started walking to the door to leave. And I'm just like, ugly cry is definitely about to come.
It's coming.
And so even talking about it right now, I'm getting emotional. But it's like, man, it's just such a blessing, bro.
That's
Yeah.
a huge blessing.
It's such a blessing, bro. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And congratulations to y'all.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Blessing number 2 over the way.
Yeah, we're right after
Yeah,
y'all.
we right, yeah.
What's y'all due date?
August
August
2nd.
Oh yeah, you just told me.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is
Y'all
a
are-
phenomenal day.
Yeah.
Phenomenal day.
And you wanna tell us why it's just so phenomenal?
Because that's going this year, August 2nd, gonna be 10 years for me and the
What?
boo.
10.
10
bro.
years.
10.
man.
10. That's crazy.
10. Y'all will be celebrating it with as a family of how many?
Family of
Six.
6.
Six.
It's a family of 6.
6.
Ooh wee.
Y'all got a car big enough for all y'all?
Man, we looking at minivans right now.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we looking at minivan because the Camry and the RAV4 is not gonna work.
Yeah,
It's not
ain't gonna cut it.
So we gonna have
It's
to
not gonna get
minivan it up.
I love that.
Wow, man.
But okay, Carrington. So we know you're married and got 2 babies on the way. You have 2 lovely ones already. It's crazy how much they look like you and Ashley, though.
Yeah.
Like when I see them, I'm like, dang, like literally,
y'all spit them out.
Yeah.
literally. But on top of being a husband, being an amazing father, what else you do? Where can they find you? What you be doing?
Gotcha.
Who are you?
What's
Doing
that
a
you
lot.
claim?
What set you claim? Where you from?
The set I claim is G-O-D. That's my set.
Okay.
Yeah.
Born and raised in Dallas, Texas, Oak Cliff to be exact.
Okay.
Marriage coach, relationship coach, in the process of becoming a licensed therapist,
Let's go.
speaker, author, entrepreneur, husband, man of God, all of those beautiful things.
Mm-hmm.
Father. Yeah. All that. I'm all
He
that.
forgot to say Spoon's friend.
Spoon's friend.
I mean, it can't,
His
it don't fit
fullback.
up
I
there.
was his fullback. Yeah. Yeah.
Carrington, what did you graduate?
From like degree.
Yeah, your
So
undergrad.
bachelor's was in clinical psychology.
Okay, so you knew you were going this route already.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
I knew that I was very interested in people, how they're wired, how they work.
Mm-hmm.
But I told myself for years that I hated school, so I avoided going back to school to get my master's. But then I connected with some people, and then God just started bringing it up, and it's like, yeah, bro, stop telling yourself that lie.
Go do what you're
Let's go.
supposed to do.
100%. So we in now.
Okay. I don't know why I think maybe because of Ashley, like she went business.
Yes.
Y'all both are still in the, in those areas, but I didn't know where you started out.
Mm. So, how did you know, like, relationships, that was your thing? How did you know?
I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. It's funny when I think about it. So Ashley, when we first met, was like, hey, listen, I just want to let you know something. God called me to a ministry of marriage and relationships. So she was like, I believe God has called me to promote relationships and dating and do it in God's way. And when she said it, I'm like, okay, cool, you do your thing. Like, I'm going to support you in that.
Do you?
And then I just got sucked into it and just fell in love with it.
Yeah.
But it's funny because when I think about myself in like elementary school, I used to, it's one guy that I remember, a guy named Brian. I don't remember his last name. Brian, if you're watching this, shouts out to you, bro. It's a guy named Brian. I'm in like 3rd grade. And he liked this girl named Cammie. But he was glasses, super nerdy vibes, and he was just nervous to talk to her. I remember we were in the library one time. I'm like, hey, bro, you like her? He was like, yeah, but I'm scared. I said, bro, don't even worry about it. I got you. I went over there to talk to Cammie. She said, y'all like him too. I done set that up.
Yeah.
They started dating. If they were married, that would blow my mind.
That's
But they started dating. So I've been doing this relationship stuff. I just didn't know that I was doing what I was doing. But then as I started to connect with people and get into what the wife and I were doing, and I just started to love it. And then when it really hit me was actually, well, I've been knowing it, but it's like cherry on top for me was like in the program, we had an assignment to like go through the process of writing out like our dreams in order from start to finish. And so when I actually sat down to think about like, what was my dreams, what was my desires, I realized that my first dream was to be a husband and a father with all of my kids in the same house because I didn't experience that.
Okay.
And so that sat with me. And I believe this was the same night. Y'all seen like the military come home videos and the family come together? And yeah. So I'm one of them come on the TV, and anytime I watch them ugly cry, like instantly, like it's going to happen. And so that night I'm watching these and I'm just crying. And I'm like, God, like, why is this affecting me like this?
Why
Like,
is this
what is going on?
What deep-seated trauma I got going on?
Like, what's happening, Lord? And so what I heard in the spirit was, I didn't just call you to build marriages and romantic relationships. Like, I've called you to build family, to mend the relationship between brother and sister, mother and daughter. Like, it's not just the romantic parts of it. And so for me, like, that confirmation and affirmation from God is the thing that like pushes me
Mm-hmm.
to like just keep going because I love family.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I love family.
Mm-hmm.
And I not even believe I know that the best thing for this world is Jesus
Mm-hmm.
and healthy examples of family.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Yep.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
man.
So many ways I can go from there because I'm like, I love families too.
Yeah.
Like, I love being a husband. I love being a daddy. Like, I love every part of it. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to have my mom and dad.
Yeah.
And so I got to see that dynamic. And and one thing that I always appreciated was like I always saw my daddy working. And so like that taught me, you know, how to roll up my sleeves and work. It
Yeah.
taught me how to, you know, at the end of the day, whether you tired or not, bro, you the bedrock of the family and you have to be able to work this thing out. And so, and him doing that and watching how my mom still supported my dad, I was like, yo, I gotta get that.
Yeah.
Mm.
I gotta get that. And so I really feel, you know, really, really blessed to be able to see that and be able to model that.
Yeah.
But it's also a blessing to have a friend, brother who is doing that for other people and helping other people build that.
Yeah.
Because some people didn't have it and they don't know how to build it. And they
100%.
just building with whatever they see on Instagram, with whatever it
100%.
is that they see other people doing. And it's like,
That's hard.
you know, it's really hard. And people end up building things that's broken, faulty, not sustainable for, you know, whatever reasons. So what's really hitting me is I'm curious about what are some of the things that you see other people doing to really help build their families
Yeah.
or families, air quotes.
Got you. First thing I would say is this: is you were just talking about like people trying to build this thing. What came to my mind was the Tower of Babel,
Uh-oh.
right? Situation in the Bible. People are like, "Yo, let's build this tower to heaven
Mm-hmm.
in order to basically prove our worth and our value to God and to get His attention." And I believe that that's what a lot of people are doing with marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that people are experiencing so much pressure from society, from friends, from family, that they're they're getting into a marriage not with the right intention, the right heart, the right posture, any of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the first thing that came to my mind when you're
Yeah.
talking. But the question is, what do I see people doing to successfully, are we saying successfully build a marriage?
Yeah, those are two.
I would
different
say that you come in contact with, because clearly if you have clients, they're
100%.
not successful.
True.
So I'm curious, you know, about what are some of the tools that you see people using to build things,
Okay,
to build
gotcha.
the marriage.
Got you. So I'm going to give you some of the tools that I'm giving these people to build their marriage.
Okay.
Well, talk about they tools.
That's the thing, though. They
Okay,
ain't got
okay.
none.
Okay,
Okay.
there it is. Okay.
That's the issue,
Yeah.
right? It's like, I hear what you asking me, and so we'll do it like this.
Okay, yeah.
I'll go from the friends that I have
Okay.
that have a healthy marriage, what they doing,
Uh-huh.
and then we'll talk about
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
folks. So the friends that I have that have a healthy marriage, one of the very intentional things that I believe that all of them are doing from experience, exposure, conversations is communicating,
Mm-hmm.
right? And not just communicating, but doing it with intentionality, right? Being cautious and intentional about what they say, how they say what they say, when they say what they say, the tone of the body language in which they communicate themselves. That's a big thing. In addition to that, a lot of people that I know that are doing marriage well are doing consistent date nights, right? Like consistently dating their partner, spending that quality time, separated from the responsibilities of life, where they can just take this time and just focusing on them. But the third thing that I would give is they have vision for the marriage. It's like they're not just a part of this thing, just seeing where it goes. It's like, no, we're having these conversations about what are our goals, what are our missions, like what is our duty, what are we pursuing, what are we going after. And so those are three big things. And so like even for my family, like the word that God put on my heart for my family in general is longevity. So for us, it's like every decision that we're making moving forward it has to be a longevity decision. It cannot be a decision of, hey, we're going to make this investment or do this thing for 2 years and be done. No, bro, we're not doing that. Like, what food do we need to be eating to be able to be active
That's good.
for years? Like, from a financial perspective, what are we investing our money in that'll serve for years? Content creation. What are we saying on these reels, on these podcasts, in these conversations that are going to last even after we're gone?
Yep.
Because that's what it's about.
Yep.
Like, it would be horrible for us to be here 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years, and then we leave and left nothing.
Nothing to show for it.
Like, we left nothing.
That happens so often, though.
Exactly. And so it's like longevity for just my family. Like, that is our focus, what we're in pursuit of, what we're intentional about doing. Now let's talk about these other couples.
And I want to say we're not mocking. We're not trying
Not
to
at all.
shame or
Or
make
bashing.
fun of.
None
But
of
we're
those
just
things.
we're putting down the table and being
Yeah,
real.
we calling a spade a spade.
100%.
Spade a spade.
So I think the first thing is this. When people ask me in general, like, what do I think the biggest issue is in relationships? My response is always miseducation. Like, people have been miseducated about
Everything.
the posture of relationships, the purpose of it, the perspective you need to have with it, like how to choose, where to position yourself, how to date. Like, people just have been miseducated.
Yeah.
And so because of the extent of miseducation that people have had in regards to relationship, like, that is why relationships are not going good for people. So I want to start there to just piggyback on the comment that you just made. We're not mocking anybody.
Yeah.
And we also understand that as a result of the miseducation regarding relationships, people are doing them wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? So when looking at, what people are doing wrong in relationships, one, we can start with those three things that I just brought up with the people that are doing right. The communication aspect of it, the intentional date night aspect of it, and then the vision aspect of it. Everybody doesn't have those things in place. But it's like, how can two walk together unless they agree? And how can we agree if we ain't talking about what we need to be agreeing about?
Drops mic.
Yeah.
Right? It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so, man, if I had, let's just focus in on this one thing, because for me, like, I believe that this one word, like, engulfs everything that people experience in a marriage from a negative perspective, and that's communication.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if we look at communication and we look at the top causes of divorce, infidelity, communication. There are some needs not being met.
Right.
Somebody's not listening. Somebody's not expressing fully. Okay, cool. Money issues. We have different philosophies, perspective. We're not communicating in a proper way to get aligned in these. They're all related to communication.
Yep.
And so as a result of not just the miseducation of relationships, but then also people being miseducated about how to communicate properly, it's not it's not going
It's
right.
a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I got to go ahead and dig another hole.
Okay.
Come on.
Let's
Right.
go.
Because when we look at communication, the reason why people are not communicating properly is because, yes, a lot of people are untrained, but then also because of trauma,
Yep.
right? Like, wounds love attention,
Yep.
and wounds going to get their attention,
And
They
will.
gonna get it.
Yeah.
right? It's going to
Yeah.
get
They
their
gonna
attention.
get it.
And so because of the level of pain, hurt, and woundedness that people are navigating with, it's not possible for people to do marriage and relationships and dating at a high level. And so there's an expectation of us to navigate in a specific way. But because of my hurt and my pain and my past, it's not even possible for me to even communicate with you to that level. And so,
Wow.
like, people got to get their healing, bro.
Yep. They gotta heal first.
Let's just sit right there for a second. Like, people got to get their healing. Like, people are really out here trying to do marriage broken.
Do you think that it's them knowing it too? Like, willing, like, I know I'm broken, I'm just going to keep going? Or do you think some of it is, or a lot of it is, I don't even realize that I'm jacked up and I'm trying to do.
I think it's both.
I as well. And I
think it's
think in a
both.
lot of cases, it's like, yeah, I'm messed up, but because my messed up, like they messed up, or the mess up that I grew up around, this is normal.
Normal. Yep.
So we're at a place in
yeah.
society where the abnormal is normal.
Yeah, that's true.
And so because of that, like that simple fact right there is a big issue
Yeah.
and a big problem
Yeah.
and a big challenge. Because if I grew up in poverty, right? All right, cool. Well, most black people experience poverty and financial challenges. Like this ain't, yeah, I be spending a lot of money, or yeah, I'm not good at saving. Yeah, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, but this is normal. Like this is what
Right.
people do.
I've been
Right. I've been like, this is all I know.
Oh, okay. Let's take that normal in a marriage and a covenant and commitment with somebody else, and let's see how that works.
Mm,
Right? So we also got to be cautious of like what we're calling normal,
that's good.
right? Because normal is just a thing that I'm consistently being exposed to and that I'm used to. So it's like, is my normal?
Which is tying us back to communication, because we need to talk about what our normal is and our vision and what we want to set as our trajectory.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Like we determine the trajectory of our marriages.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I'm doing, one of the conversations I'm having when I do premarital counsel with couples is about marital expectations. And it's like I give them like 7 or 8 different areas. It's like finances, raising kids, health and fitness, intimacy, religion and spirituality. And it's like, as an individual, write down your expectations for this area. Like, what are you expecting from a marital perspective in these
For the other
areas?
person, for yourself, or just in
For
general?
the marriage.
Okay.
So if y'all are my clients, I would give both of y'all the document and say, hey, Jazz, you fill out your marital expectations in those areas based on what you're expected. Spoon, you do the same exact thing. So we're writing down what we expect, and then we come together. And it's like, okay, cool. Let's talk about finances. What are you expecting for these finances to be navigated like? What are you expecting for these finances to be navigated like? Okay, cool. We're not saying the same thing.
Right.
So because of that, we need to get on the same page about this. Why do you think like that? Why do you think it should be like this? Why do you feel like that? Why do you feel like this? And we talk and communicate until we get on the same page about it. And then after we go through all the areas, I have an hour marital expectation document. And so then we put all the compromises, all the like-minded perspectives and thoughts on this one document, and then we sign it. Like we signed it and dated. And we have 2 copies of it. Why? Because we just created a covenant, a commitment for us navigating these areas in this way,
That's good.
right? So we need to hang these up so that if a situation arises and you ain't, wait a minute, that ain't, let's go look at this document. Because that ain't what we
you
said. It's an opportunity to hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
Can this change? Yes, it's our marriage.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have permission to change unless we give it permission to change, not just one person.
And the blessing in that is, it's crazy. You would think that document holds more weight than a marriage certificate. You know what I mean? Because we can divorce that if we want to.
Yeah.
But this marriage certificate, hey, bro, you said this.
100%.
This is what you said.
100%.
Girl, you agreed to this. So it puts us in a position to have to hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
And we have to hold ourselves accountable. Like, man, bro, I did say that.
Yeah.
Those were my expectations. And yeah, they did change, but I didn't communicate about the changes.
Yeah.
So it keeps you really engulfed in the marriage, and it keeps you on your toes. And it keeps us away from the victim mindset that a lot of people have. Well, I mean, we got married, so we're going to do our best, and whatever happens, happens. People don't really realize. And at one point in time, I was people. I was. But the realization that I actually have more control than what I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like we have that victim mindset. Well, this happened to me, or this happened to us. Whereas we could have set a plan. We could have put things together. We could have done this. The word says that he gives seed to the sower.
100%.
So did you sow vision? Did you sow longevity? What practical things did you put in place so that you can take the reins of your marriage and move it? Because the marriage, it's like when we get married, all right, high five, we did the thing. Nah, you're supposed to get, if you get married, you're supposed to be doing something with it.
100%.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be moving the needle for the kingdom of God at the end of the day. So how can you move the needle of God with the institution of marriage if you have a victim mindset?
100%. And it's like, one, you got to navigate relationships with a producer mindset,
Mm-hmm.
right? You cannot focus on me, what do I need? And
Yep.
that's not how you navigate. But then in addition to that, it's like, I think a big mistake that a lot of times believers have, this might sound crazy, but depending too much on God.
Explain that.
I will.
I know.
So here's what I mean by that. A lot of times when we look at life, people can be so spiritual that they remove the practical.
Yeah, over spiritualizing.
100.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I'm sick and I have this illness. So I'm going to pray and pray and pray for God to heal me of this illness and sickness. And I do it with expectation and I do it with belief. And I'm still eating fried chicken every day.
Yep.
And I'm still eating the pizza.
Yep.
And I still ain't working out. And I still ain't drinking the water. And I'm still drinking the soda. And I'm still stressed out. And I still stay up late at night watching Love and Hip Hop and ain't getting no sleep.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's real. Let's
So
talk
you
about
super
it.
spiritual and praying for this, but you avoided the fact that you have a responsibility to
Right.
this.
Yep.
And I bring that up because God put in place principles and laws that's going to bear fruit whether you believe in him or not.
Mm-hmm.
So like people complain about wealthy people that don't believe in God. Well, he said you reap what you sow.
Right.
That wasn't
good.
just for you because you believe in Jesus.
That's so good.
That's for everybody.
That's
That's
principle.
good.
Right?
Yeah.
But we get mad because we assume that because I love Jesus, it's going to happen. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
It's a process, it's an equation. Matthew 6:33.
Yep.
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Right?
Yeah.
This might get me in trouble, but it is what it is.
It's okay.
I was talking with a client that after that call, I got on Instagram Live and just went in, just about men and men providing and provision, right? And so the client was in a situation where there were challenges in the relationship to the point to where the husband was like, oh, I ain't about to do nothing. Like, I ain't about to work. I ain't about to do crazy stuff. I'm like,
Okay.
and the stuff that I hear in these is insane.
I'm sure.
I know you know, but it's like it's insane.
Yeah.
And so what I went to in the live was about how if a man is married, if a man is a husband, or even a man is by himself, and his needs as a man aren't met, like the needs that he has as a human being, as a person, if he's married, if the needs of his family aren't being met, then he's not in tune enough with God. It's not possible. Because if Matthew 6:33 says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. And when we look up earlier in Matthew 6, it's talking about what to eat, what to drink, clothes you're going to wear, your shelter. That means at the bare minimum, if nothing else, you're going to have some food.
Yeah.
You're going to have something to drink.
Yes. Yeah.
You're going to have some shelter. You're going to have some clothes.
Yeah.
Like you're going to have that.
Yeah.
So if you're in a situation where you don't have that, you ain't doing enough seeking. It's not possible. Because the Bible said what it said. And the Bible also says that all word is God breathed and God inspired.
Yeah.
And the word also says that God is not a man that he shall lie. Therefore, God he got to stand on that business.
Yeah.
So why in the world would God tell you this in Matthew, inspire Matthew to write this down, tell you this, and then not come through for it? It don't make sense.
Right.
Which means that if your needs are being met, then you ain't doing what you're supposed to do in that relationship.
I can ride with you on this one.
And then here's another thing, just another 2 cents I want to add to that is this. Also with that, because somebody might hear that and be like, well, my needs ain't being met. Because, yeah, I got this stuff, but how I'm getting it, who cares? The need is being met.
Right. We're not talking about having a hard season or having a hard time or, going through a storm.
Stuff happens.
Yeah, we're talking about like your needs. It may not look good, but your needs are being met. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I said I can ride with you.
It's like I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time finding a job, but somehow, like I keep finding these random 2-day positions that just so happened to give me all the money I need
Right.
for the month.
Yep.
Right.
For what I need.
Yeah.
Man, bro, it's hard for me to go to the grocery store and buy stuff, but people keep dropping off food out of nowhere.
Right.
And just, hey, bro, I'm in the neighborhood. You need some needs being met.
Needs
Yeah.
being met.
Yeah.
And so in seasons like that, we have a responsibility to really just step back and be grateful.
Mm-hmm.
And it may sound crazy to be grateful, but I say grateful because, okay, thank you.
Mhm.
It's not possible for us to know if God means what he says unless we're in a situation where
Well,
God
we
has
need
to
him.
mean what he says.
Come on, Carrington.
Yep.
It's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't know that to be true.
Yep.
It's not
If
like I
Mhm.
cannot
Don't
know,
know. Yeah.
which goes back to the marriage vows.
Mhm.
Marriage vows are a promise.
Mm,
Yep.
Every promise has a time cap on it. Just so happens for the marriage vows, that promise, the time cap is death.
right.
Right? But here's the thing. Those vows don't mean nothing until
They are
we
challenged.
experience better or worse.
Yeah.
They mean nothing
Mhm.
until we experience sickness or health. They mean nothing until we experience rich or for poor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because in order for you to know that I meant what I said, we
Right.
have to be in a position where I got to show you that I meant what I said.
Right.
Mhm.
And most people don't mean what they say
Mhm.
Mm.
because they're not really saying it. Like they're not really thinking about it. It's just
Yeah.
like, this is tradition. This is normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Repeat after me. And so I repeat after you.
Exactly.
yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I'm going to let that sit there.
Mm.
Yeah. That you said a whole lot. That was really good. Did you finish your point on like talking about men? Like if a man, I think you did. If a man,
Yeah, it was about that provision
Okay.
piece, right? And it's like, if the Bible is giving you the equation, then it's like, if you're applying this equation,
Mhm.
it has no choice but to work properly.
right.
So I don't even know why I got there, but somebody need to hear that, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, that's the point that I was making with
Okay.
that one.
Okay. Okay.
You know, I find it interesting, and I'm just like, but you weren't this person when you and Ashley first got married. So
What you
how
mean?
did you like pull on all of these the different way of thinking? Because like the man that I am today, I'm not the man that you
Oh,
married.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying?
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to know like what personal things
As a man.
like did you begin to, recognize even within yourself and about yourself on how to build your marriage.
Yeah.
That's
Because
really good.
you know what I mean? Because y'all looking at a decade. A decade ago, you were not this Carrington Brown. You were a different
Heck,
one.
like 6 months ago, I was.
And we
you
we
feel
have
me?
not had a male perspective on this.
Right. No.
I don't think
Yeah.
we've had a lot of women,
Yeah,
but we haven't had a male perspective. So I'm really excited to hear this.
got you. So, you know how earlier we were talking about the people that are attempting to do marriage that didn't have the example,
Mhm.
making a lot of bad decisions and mistakes.
Mhm.
So that was me,
Mm.
right?
No, not Carrington.
Man, Jesus.
And give us your
Um,
testimony.
So, like I said, I always desired marriage,
Mhm.
but I really didn't know what marriage came with.
Yeah.
Right.
Because for me growing up, all I know when it came to marriage was abuse,
Mhm.
right? Verbal, emotional, physical, mental abuse. People getting punched in the face, pushed out the house, pushed out the car,
Man.
cussing out all the time, infidelity, everybody.
Mm.
That's all I knew when it came to marriage. So I didn't have a trial and error
Mm. Yeah.
from a general perspective.
Yeah.
Trial and error is the answer to your question.
Yeah.
And so I've had to figure a lot out.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for me to figure a lot out, I've had to be willing to make bad decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to be willing to kill my ego
Mm.
and kill my pride. I've had to be willing to go to other men and say, hey, bro, like, this is what I'm experiencing. Like, and what do I need to do differently?
Mm-hmm.
Like, not always pointed at her, but what am I doing differently?
Yeah.
And I navigate like that because years ago, I was in a multi-level marketing company organization. And the best thing that I learned from that, or the best quality that I got from that, was reading
Mm-hmm.
and just seeking information.
Mm.
But my leader in the organization, one person he used to talk about all the time was Grant Cardone.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing he used to just always say about Grant Cardone was that he navigated with a perspective that everything needs to be your fault.
Mm.
Like nothing in your life needs to be anybody else's fault. Because if it's your fault and you're the problem, you're also the answer. So I navigate like that. Like I'm like, how is this my fault? How am I the issue? How am I the problem? All right, cool. Let me change. Because I've come to realize over this almost decade of marriage is that successful marriages are not built on two people trying to be great husbands or great wives. Successful marriages are built on two people pursuing being the best version of themselves that they could possibly be. Like that's what it's about. And so I've had to have uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah.
I've had to make bad decisions. I've had to face my demons. A mistake that I made coming into marriage was assuming that marriage was the solution to my issues. But early on, I came to realize that when I was, at the podium in front of the pastor and the family and the friends, and I said, I do, my addictions and my struggles and my insecurities, they were like, we do too.
We do too.
Yeah.
Like we do too. Like,
Right, you didn't leave those there.
We're coming with you, bro.
We here, bro.
Like we coming with you, bro.
Yep.
And the interesting thing about marriage is that whatever issues, challenges you come into marriage with, they're going to get bigger.
Yep.
That
They're
is
gonna
true.
be
Like
amplified.
they don't stay the same size. They
They're
get
gonna
bigger.
That is true.
And that's necessary. So like I had to look myself in the mirror and be like, hey, you're the problem, bro. Like you're blaming, we real. You're blaming your wife for your addiction to pornography and masturbation. And you're using her as a crutch when Carrington, you were exposed to this at 8 years old. So how is your wife the cause of an issue that you've had since 8 years old?
Right. That's real.
Make that make sense, sir. Like the problem was here before she got here. So how is that her?
Yeah.
Right? So it's like I've had to have those conversations with myself and just accept the truth and the fact that, hey, bro, you got to fix you. Even with my wife, even with challenges that I've had that are actually her, even with those things, I'll express them to her, but then I'm like, is there anything that I'm doing to trigger that?
Yep.
Man, that sounds like you.
Right? Is there any, that's that counseling, that psychology.
Yeah,
we know
that's
what's
what
up,
that is.
right?
Y'all some good men. Ash girl, we got some good
Come
men.
on, right? But it's like, as a man, as her husband, as her leader, is there anything that I'm doing that's causing her to carry herself like this and navigate herself like this? And it's always been yes. It's always been yes.
Wow.
Like it's like I tell men all the time, bro, like the success of your marriage is on you, bro.
Yep.
Like forget the wife. Like it's on you.
Yep. You gotta do
Like,
your part.
You gotta do your part, bro, plus some. Right? And I heard, man, I forgot who said this. But they were like, when we look at unconditional love, like it's really not possible for us. So let's be real. Unconditional love, it ain't possible for us because we people. Like we can remove expectations, all that type of stuff, but there's always that piece of us that's like,
Yeah, because we have needs.
100%.
Yeah.
And so I forgot who I was listening to, but they were like, true commitment is shown when the conditions of a situation or your conditions for a situation or your desired conditions for a situation are not being met. And so the question is, can you still show up?
Yep.
When your conditions aren't being met, can you still show up? When you don't feel like you're being respected,
Yep.
can you still show up? When you don't have security, can you still show up? And one thing I always tell couples, and I love this, and I love it, but I hate it because I'll be having to remind myself of it. Really, myself just be reminding myself of it. But it's like, even when you feel like your spouse is being a bad spouse, it doesn't give you permission to be a bad spouse.
Gosh, that is
Yep.
so true.
Yep. You
Like-
can't be doing the whole eye for an eye.
We don't have permission, bro.
We don't get to
Yep.
do that.
And it's very simple why. Because this marriage thing is a reflection of Jesus Christ and
Right.
the church.
right.
GRACE.
Man,
Grace.
man.
That's it.
Like we don't have like, I'm saying this over this part, like we don't have a choice. Like we don't have a choice. And I'm saying this for the people who are married, the people that are engaged, the people that are single, the people that want marriage. Like, you don't have a choice, right? Like, I don't have a choice not to honor and respect my wife.
Right.
I don't have a choice.
Right.
I don't have a choice not to be committed to this marriage and to navigate with fidelity. I do not have a choice. Point blank, period. And so people think they have a choice when they don't.
No,
and so they navigate like they got a choice when you really don't.
You don't.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite Bible verses is 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 4. And it says, no one serving as soldiers gets entangled in civilian affairs, but rather tries to please their commanding officer. So it's like when you enlist yourself in the military, the perspectives and the opinions and the appeasement of other people goes out the window.
Yep.
All it's about is your commanding officer giving you orders, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, and you getting it done.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how being a Christian is.
Yep.
Yeah.
God is our commanding officer. Like, we are a part of the kingdom of heaven,
Yep.
monarchy, one person in charge,
Yep,
one person ruling.
Yeah.
Everything is his.
Yeah.
You don't, I understand and I appreciate you expressing your feelings, but that don't really matter. I hear you, but you signed up for this.
Yeah, you chose violence.
You chose violence, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you can't get mad and try to run from or avoid the expectations and the standards that you chose. Like, that's why God bless us with free will. He know what's up. Man, narrow is
Right.
this road.
Narrow is the road.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
this
what it
thing,
say.
this thing is narrow.
That's tight.
It's tight up in here.
Look,
Tight.
I'm telling you, look, my daughter in gymnastics, and I be seeing them little girls on them beams, and they be
Oh, yeah.
falling, and it's like, Jesus is like, God is like, this is
Yeah.
Yeah.
that path.
Yeah.
You don't have to walk this. Like, you don't have to. But if you choose it, you got to. You ain't got no
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
You know, I find it like, you know, as you get to talk about, as you started talking about, you know, us essentially owning our part in it. We have to own our part. You know, it gets real challenging for people. And this is something that I've really been learning is being able to own my part without rescuing at the same time.
Break that down.
So like, there was like with Jasmine and I, like, I would always figure out like, okay, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And I would end up fragilizing her.
Okay.
Because I would always figure out, well, maybe if I wouldn't have done this, maybe if I wouldn't have done that, blah, blah, blah. And so it kept me on that hamster wheel of it's always my fault. It's always my fault. I've always been thinking about it this way or whatnot. And so I never gave her an opportunity to actually be accountable for her part in it or her part in certain things. So like that consistent wrestling of, okay, wait, this was my fault. However, like to your point, you are still responsible for your part in it. Yeah, it was 100% blow up. But out of that 100% blow up, I did my 10.
Yeah.
That 90 is yours. I'm going to admit my 10, but I'm not going to rescue you and start turning that 10 to 11, to
100%.
12, to 40, to 50, to I'm just going to completely own the whole situation.
Yeah.
And a lot of people step into relationships or go into relationships, and this is really outside of romantic relationships, but all relationships where they tend to rescue the other party and it fragilizes them.
Yeah.
Because if they never learn to really hold their part of it and own their part of it, they'll never be strong enough. And we take those experiences away from them to hold themselves accountable or to grow their strength and accountability. Because some people cannot hold the weight of accountability.
You can't.
And
Bro,
so
that's excellent.
Yeah. So that's like where I'm like, because I know that I was like, I was the rescuer. Oh, I would step in and I would rescue
you
Jazz at every given point that I could. And, you know, I learned this thing called the drama triangle. I don't know if you ever heard of the drama triangle, but there are 3 points on there. There's the victim, the rescuer, and then the attacker. And so we were playing this role on this drama triangle where she would be the attacker or she would be the victim and I would be the rescuer. So anytime a situation would come up, I would slide over into that rescuer corner. I'm like, okay, so what did I do wrong? Okay, so next time don't do this.
Even though
don't
I
do
was
that,
the attacker, but
don't do
somehow
this,
I'm
blah,
able to
blah, blah.
slide into
You're
victim.
And so,
You know what? You did trigger me to
Yeah.
talk to you like
Yeah.
that.
Exactly.
so like a lot of us, we're unaware that we're doing that dance in these
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah.
And a lot of those conversations happen internally.
Yeah.
We're having this conversation in our heads, not with the other person. It comes out with the other person whenever we yelling, screaming, shouting, blah, blah, blah. But we fueled ourselves based off of what didn't happen in our head because we didn't create what the end result's gonna be. We've created what this person done said, even though they ain't even said it. Jasmine the other day, she had a dream and she woke up in the middle of the night and looked at me
these pregnancy
like
dreams are
it was my fault, like I did. So I'm over there asleep. So it's like we're fueled by a lot of the things that are happening in our heads, and then we start putting people in corners when the whole purpose is to get off the triangle.
True.
Like, hey, yeah, you may be blaming me or accusing me. I'm not gonna play the victim here, and I'm not gonna rescue your dysfunction.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna step off and I'm gonna pray for you and I'm gonna do all this other stuff. But I'm not gonna rescue you in your dysfunction.
100%. That's excellent. Because that was something that I used to do as well.
Mm.
The same exact thing.
Man.
Like, nah, bro, it's her, bro. It ain't you, bro. It's her, bro. Like, but it's like, but like the way that I was navigating was like, yeah, bro, she did this thing, bro, but you definitely made her do that, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't even be mad at her for doing that.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's foolery.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's folly.
Yep.
That's what that is.
Yep.
And so, from my perspective, I can speak for me. I can't speak for you. I can speak for me. For me, the influence for that was insecurity, low self-esteem, and then experience.
Yeah.
So outside of my wife, I've been cheated on in every relationship I had, like everyone. And then when I ask why, it's always me, right? So I created the idea and the identity of I am the problem and I'm okay being the problem. Like I've even told, like I've separated from relationships and I've told, man, you can tell people whatever you want to tell them. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like, why would I even give somebody power and authority
Yeah.
over the narrative of me? And so because of my personal issues, that's why I navigated like that. And it's very unbeneficial and unhealthy for a relationship. Because like you said, when you do that, you void your partner of holding themselves accountable, and they're changing. Like, yeah, I may have said something that triggered you like that, but you still said what you said.
Right, you still
said
wrong,
it.
bro.
Like you still did what you did.
I was wrong.
100. And so it's like with me, when I'm talking to couples about conflict, and I do like 7 steps for conflict resolution with couples.
Okay.
And it's like, one of the steps though is like, start with what's your fault. Like when initiating the conflict conversation, like start with what's your fault. And when I let them know, hey, listen, we're doing this in order to disarm our partner and to have him or her not feel attacked. Because if we feel attacked, we're going to defend. Right. So it's like, you show them what it looks like to hold themselves accountable. It's like when I talk about submission.
Right? He cussing, y'all. He cussing. I'm sorry, ladies.
They don't like that word.
That S word.
So it's like when I'm talking about submission, that's funny. When I'm talking about submission, I tell people like it's 3 levels of submission, right? And the foundational level it's 2 parts to the foundational level, right? One part of it is, as individuals, we're both submitted to Jesus Christ.
Right.
Like we both have our intimate, quality, individual relationship with Jesus Christ. But then part 2 to that is the husband leading in the area of submission with his submission towards God.
Right.
Right? So the husband has a responsibility, from my perspective, how I describe it, to teach and train his wife on what it looks like for her to submit to him by her seeing how he submits to God.
Exactly.
Right? Boom, that's level 1. Level 2 is the wife submitting to the husband. Okay, I've committed to this relationship. We have this covenant. He's the leadership role. I'm seeing him submit to God.
Right.
And I'm seeing the fruit of that. So I recognize that he's not leading himself. He's being led by a phenomenal leader because it's bearing much fruit in this marriage and in our lives. So let me submit to him. Because if he's bearing fruit from following him, from following God, imagine how much fruit we're going to bear in a marriage by both of us basically submitting to God, by him submitting to God and me submitting to him.
Beautifully said.
So that's level 2. Now here's the issue. This level 3 submission.
Is it 2.5 or is it 3?
No, I ain't no 2.5. This is definitely, this might be 3, 4, 5. Man, this is a level of submission that when I say you got to kill your pride and ego, it's necessary.
Yeah.
But that level 3 submission is the husband's submission to the wife.
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk about that. Because
it.
I don't hear people talk about
No,
that.
they don't talk
So
about
let's
that.
talk about it. First, here's the reason why I believe that a husband is supposed to submit to a wife. Ephesians 5:21 or 22 says, mutual or reciprocal submission shows reverence for God.
Yep. Submitting one to another.
That means we're supposed to submit one to another. That's what the Bible say.
That's what it say.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody talk about it, but that's what the Bible say.
Yep.
Now, here's why that's necessary.
Okay.
God created Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was good up until Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything, like day is good, night is good, water is good, birds is good, all of that's good,
Yeah.
right?
Ain't good.
It's all good. Then Adam came. It's not good for you to be by yourself,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting. It's interesting how everything that he created prior was created with a partner. Like heaven and earth, light, dark, sea, air. It was all created together. But then man came by himself.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. But then Adam came by himself, and he like, you by yourself, it ain't good.
Mm-hmm.
Go on. You can pick whatever helper you want, right? Just go on, name the animals. Go on, name them things. You can name whatever you want to. You pick the best one for you. Adam named all of them. God had already given him work, already gave him a responsibility. Then he looked and said, hey, none of these are good enough
Yeah,
for you.
they don't fit me.
They don't. Yeah. So God put him to sleep, put out the rib, put out Eve. But he said something good. He said, I will create a helper that is suitable for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a definition guy, right? I like
Okay.
to Google definition stuff.
Okay.
So the word suitable means appropriate for the person, purpose, and situation.
Mm.
So God said, hey, you need a suitable helper because of who you are, the purpose I have for your life, and the situation that you're in right now and will be in the future. We need somebody who's perfect for you in that.
Mm-hmm.
So Eve came, and she's that. I 100% forgot why I'm talking about this right now.
Yeah, that's okay.
100%.
Just keep
So
going.
we're talking about level 3 submission.
Right? We talking about submission, but something you said before that led me here.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, the accountability piece.
Accountability.
But either way, it's like when we look at that, like God saying, yo, you need somebody who's suitable for you. If Adam had all that he needed to be all that he needed to be, there would not be no need for Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which means that man has gaps.
Mm-hmm.
Man has gaps. God, the wives that we choose, and now I'm a believer. I didn't believe this at first, but now I believe that we actually choose our spouses, like God doesn't choose them for us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm of that belief now.
Okay.
The spouse that we choose, we have to be intentional about making sure he or she is suitable,
Mm-hmm.
right? Appropriate for position, purpose, person, situation. There we go. There we go. Circumstance. So the reason why that level 3 submission is important is simply because you don't have everything that you need.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we look at marriage and choosing wisely, if we choose a suitable partner that is appropriate for us as an individual, our purpose, and the situation that we're in and the one that we will be in, we have to, as men, kill our pride, kill our ego, and be willing to submit to the areas of our wife that she thrives in that we don't. Why? Because this family is a business. This is Witherspoon LLC, right? And Spoon is the CEO because God said it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've never seen a CEO do the accounting work.
Mm.
I've never seen a CEO just focus on operations.
That's good.
The successful ones, anyways.
Success, right? I've never seen a CEO also focus on the technology and the innovation
That's good.
and the marketing.
Mm-hmm.
They hire CMOs and CIOs and CTOs and COOs and they put people in place because he or she realized that, hey, listen, yes, I'm the decision maker. Yes, I'm the leader of this thing. But I have to make sure that I put quality and qualified people in the right positions to make sure we can be as successful as possible.
That's a really good analogy.
So as the CEO of Witherspoon LLC, you have a responsibility to assess the state and the health of the business. Say, hey, listen, this is the state that we're in. This is our 3-year plan, 5-year plan, 10-year plan, where we desire to go. Based on the skills, the qualifications of you, what are the best roles for you? Babes, I think you great COO. You're natural with the systems and the strategies and the organization and the planning and the count. You should definitely be the COO of this, right? Hey, you're better with navigating money with me and numbers. You definitely the CFO. And when it comes to being a CEO, yes, you're the final say-so. But when the CFO come to you and say, hey, listen, this money ain't right, and so we need to implement this, change this, the CEO is like, all right, cool, you right.
That's good.
Submission. So it's like, that's how we need to navigate in a marriage.
So good.
Like that's how we're supposed to be navigated.
Yeah.
When we navigate like that, when we navigate like that, that's also us holding each other accountable.
Yeah.
Right? Because you were talking about accountability, and that's what led into this, right? Accountable for what I did, what the other person did, 100%. When we align stuff up properly and we allow people to be in their proper positions, accountability has to come. Why? Because there's no excuse for you not to thrive in that. There's no excuse. Like, God has gifted me to talk, y'all.
He has.
He's gifted, and I recognize that. I used to be like, shouts out to Jesus, yeah. And it is shouts out to Jesus. And I still had to cultivate this gift. Right? Like, pump by period. So it's like, God has gifted me in this.
Yeah.
I don't have no excuse not to talk. I'm not Moses. Like, I don't have an excuse.
Yeah.
But then even if I had an excuse, I still wouldn't have an excuse. Why? Because I'm responsible to say yes to God. Right? Like, all right, here comes some Bible. We going. I don't know where we going. We going somewhere.
We just letting them lead.
But it's like, even if I do have a logical reason why I'm unqualified for this thing, I'm still qualified because God says so.
Exactly.
Qualified
right?
the call.
And see, that kind of goes back to the trauma piece, right? Because Moses almost missed out on his opportunity to free people as a result of his trauma.
Right.
Right? Shouts out to the burning bush. One thing is this, because I was listening to Exodus this week and last week. One thing I realized last week when I was listening to Exodus, was I used to think that God was the burning bush. That's not what it says. It said God spoke to him from it. So God wasn't even in there. He was just speaking through it, right? Which is a reminder to us that, like, God uses us in the same way. Side note.
That's good.
But here's what I love about Exodus. My favorite part is when the burning bush. Because when Moses saw it, it said that he was interested in it. So he moved closer to see what was going on. God spoke to Moses through the bush and said, yo, take your shoes off before you come over here, because this is holy ground. That's very simple. But how I grow in revelation and grow in understanding is by asking questions. Why in the world would God tell him to take his shoes off? Like, why does that even matter? Here's a revelation I got. If I want to know where you've been, what you've been through, where you came from, all I got to do is look at the bottom of your shoes. The bottom of your shoes have the residue of everywhere you've been. And I believe that God said through the burning bush, take your shoes off before you come in here, because it's holy ground, is because God was about to give him purpose and mission and calling. And God understood that it's not possible for you to be able to receive this properly if you bring where you've been to the place where I'm about to tell you where you're about to go.
Right.
It's not possible.
That's beautiful.
And so even after that, Moses came with all of these excuses. You know, I can't talk. I'm this, that, the other. Who am I? Yada, yada, yada. And God was like, who cares? Go. And so we as people, this is just believer talk. As believers, we got to understand, like, we have a responsibility in the relationship with Christ to just submit to being sent. Like, just submit to being sent. Like, don't try to figure everything out. Don't try to find out whether or not you're qualified or not. Just submit to being sent. Why? because it's your responsibility to walk out the mission, the calling, what God has told you to do. The Bible says he who began a good work is going to bring it to completion.
Yeah.
Which means that if God started it, he has a responsibility to finish it.
Not you.
God has a responsibility to finish it.
Yeah.
Why am I putting the pressure of God on myself to finish the thing that God has started?
Ooh-wee.
Why does
you,
that
Lord.
even make sense?
Yep.
Thank you, Lord.
And the reason why that has to be like that is because of provision. Provision is providing for the vision. The reason why a husband has a responsibility to provide for his house, because his decision to create this family had to be a part of a vision. You always have to provide for your vision.
Yep.
I have to provide for my family because that's my vision.
Yeah.
Therefore, I have to provide for that. There are things that God is, y'all are pursuing stuff that you didn't even want.
No,
It's like-
absolutely. This was not when we stood up there at the altar, this was not.
Yep. Not at all.
Like, I wasn't looking for this, Lord. Like,
Yeah.
this was not a desire of mine.
Right,
This was
right.
not a part of my vision.
Yeah.
Where in the world did this desire come from? God.
Right.
And the thing is this, if it's his vision, God has a responsibility to provide for it.
Yep.
That's right.
And that's so important because that's one of the things that we as people in general, but then believers, allow to persuade us out of moving.
You know, the word tells us that he gives seed to the sower.
Yeah.
And it also tells us with Paul, can't remember where, but Paul, he said, at the end of the day, I may do the watering.
Yeah.
Apollos may do the planting.
Yep.
But God is still responsible for
100%.
the result of that soul, of that person being delivered. And so, we have a God complex.
Yes.
We have a God complex because we think that we're people's savior. We think that we are the way to salvation. We are just a part of the vision. We're a part of the plan. And, us relinquishing that idolatry of thinking that, oh, I'm this type of person, or I'm this, or I'm that, then it removes us and puts us in our place.
100%.
And it holds us accountable to where we are. But a lot of us don't even know, to what you were saying earlier, miseducation.
100%.
A lot of us as believers, we've been miseducated about where we are, who we are in Christ, who we are in God, and who we are as married couples, as a marriage. We've been miseducated, and so we think it's my job to save my spouse. No, it's not. It's not your job to save them.
Right.
Jesus died on the cross to save them.
Yeah.
It's your job to be the best that you can for them through Christ
100.
and walk it out in a practical sense.
Yep.
So that you are a reflection of him, because we were made in his image and in his likeness. So you should look like God to them, but you are not God.
100%.
You should look like, oh, thank you, girl. Hey.
Come on.
And vice versa. And so as you walk out your Christ-like, get tongue-tied, Christ-like life,
Yeah.
then you begin to be a testimony for your spouse.
100%. I call it superhero syndrome.
Ooh, I like
Right.
that one too.
More on that coming soon.
Yeah.
But I call it superhero syndrome, right? And it's that need to save the day for people,
Yep.
because that's what people. That's why we navigate like that, right?
Yeah.
And that goes back to why we got to get our healing.
Yep,
That's a
we
trauma
gotta heal.
response.
Yep.
Like I need to be needed. We really tell ourselves that if we don't show up, nobody is.
Yep. Well, ain't nobody else gonna do it. So who? I guess I might as well show up.
We think we're so important that, man, if this person calls me on the side of the road and I'm doing something I need to be doing, that if I say no, they're going to be there forever.
Yeah.
You think that highly of you?
Wow.
Really? Like you ain't that important.
Yeah.
We're dirt.
Yeah.
We're dirt. We're dirt with purpose.
Yep.
Like that's all we are. And so it's like, we gotta really stop seeing ourselves like, which is why we gotta go get our healing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Get you a therapist, get you a counselor, go to a psychiatrist, get you a phenomenal coach. If they equipped and trained in the area of mental health in any way, go get you some healing. Because it's like hurt people, heal people, heal people.
Yep.
And if you're a hurt person, you cannot help nobody heal, even if you feel like it,
Yep.
even if it look like it.
Yeah.
It's not really healing. Because if you're doing something that looks like healing to the other person, you're really hurting yourself. Because all you're really doing is to fill this gap or to put a little medication on this wound that you're navigating with that you don't want to deal with. Hey, bro, how about instead of you doing that, how about we go sit down and talk about the neglect and the rejection and the abandonment that you felt from your daddy not being there?
Yep. Yep.
How about we just deal with the level of lack of nurturing that you experienced from your mama?
Yep.
How about we talk about that divorce? How about we talk about that sexual abuse? Like, what? I know in a black family, we just like slide under the rug, don't talk about it.
You know, what happens in this house stays in this house.
Ain't nobody got time
Close
for
the door
that.
and leave it alone.
Like, ain't nobody got time for that. Like, that's one of the, don't get too turned up, Brown. But it's like, that's one of my biggest issues with the black family.
Yeah.
Like all these secrets.
Yeah.
So you keeping secrets. You keeping a secret that Uncle JoJo touched you. And now you got touched. And your sister got touched. And your cousin got touched. And your niece got touched. And your daughter got touched. And all these other little girls got touched because you didn't say nothing.
You didn't say nothing.
Really? So you so focused on you that you unwilling to serve other people?
Yep.
Really? Okay, got you. That make a lot of sense. It don't, but that make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, bro.
Yeah, yeah, and you know we go in there because a lot of what we've talked about in this conversation has really been pointed at healing, and I really feel like that's where God is leading us.
Yeah.
When it comes to the whole entire conversation, of pivoted. I felt it a long time ago, and really it's about healing because a lot of people are broken.
Yeah.
And you know, to your point about one girl getting touched, keeping her mouth shut, and all these other people being impacted because she didn't say anything, and it's like, that one girl or that child even, they were bullied into keeping quiet.
Man.
And so not only, so now there's the guilt of being bullied to keep my mouth shut, but there's also, oh man, there's blood on my hands.
Yeah.
Because I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But I was too weak. I was vulnerable. I was a child. And I didn't know what to do with all of this stuff. And I didn't realize now I had the whole entire world on my shoulders and as it relates to my family and all of this trauma and this sexual abuse, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
And so like healing sounds like more pain. When you really look at it,
100.
it feels like I'm going to have to deal with even more pain because I'm so used to it being locked up, swept under the rug. I ain't talked about it in 20, 30 years. I've healed, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Right.
But we're just comfortable and we've just become comfortable with the abnormal.
Yeah.
We've turned that abnormal into normal and we've been living with the trauma. Trauma's been there
100%.
our whole lives.
100%.
But we've just, we made a bed for it. We made a room for it. It stays with us. It goes with us. It even speaks for us a lot of times. And so a lot of people don't want to go through the healing because now I have to uncover what I've covered.
Man.
Yeah.
And I got a client. Was you about to say something, Jazz?
Oh,
I'm
I was just
sorry.
gonna say I'm hearing also like the importance of that relationship, that one-on-one relationship with God. Like kind of backtracking to something that you were talking about, Carrington, is how we come into these relationships with finger pointing and all kinds of things, doing relationships wrong, and not even having an understanding of what marriage is. Like even breaking it down to the vows. Like, right, you talked about how we don't really even understand that until we're challenged with those things. But there was never a true surrender to God beforehand. And I think that makes it hard. Like, how am I supposed to reflect Christ in this marriage if I really wasn't doing that before I got married? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so I wonder what it's like for couples, especially those that you work with, who have hit that wall and y'all realize like, okay, you weren't even doing this before. So how we get there? There's a lot to build on there.
It is. And, it's hard. Let's just keep it fun. Like, it's hard.
It is very hard.
I tell couples daily, consultation, we talk, okay, cool. Hey, listen, here we go. Let's say first session with a couple, right? Got some issues. All right, cool. I always leave with transparency. Hey, listen, let's write this transparency letter. I'm going to give y'all 5 to 7 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes. I'm going to turn on some music and y'all just write a letter to each other. Tell your partner how you feel about the marriage, what they've done to impact you, how it's still affecting you, what your desire is. Let's write this all out.
Mm-hmm.
Have them read it to each other. The only response you can give your partner after they read it is, I appreciate your transparency. When we're done with that, anything else need to come out before I ask you this question? All right, cool. My question for you is this. Based on you knowing now exactly where your partner is, are you willing to do what's required to get to the other side of that? Because this is probably going to be the hardest thing you ever done in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I need you to know that. This is probably more than likely going to be the hardest thing you ever do in your life.
That self-work is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's going to be hard. And so if you're unwilling to do the hard work, let's not even play with it.
Yep.
Let's not even waste no time.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, I was saying it like jokingly, but I was serious, like before we got on, when I was like, I believe that's one of the best decisions some people can make for the kingdom of heaven is not getting married.
Mm-hmm.
Like you really
don't have
want
to.
You don't
Was it
have
Paul
to.
that said that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better that you don't do
Better
this.
that you don't.
Look, you can focus on Jesus and you.
Yep.
100.
That's it.
Yeah.
But it's like, everybody really ain't about this life. Everybody talk about being about to smoke. If you about to smoke, get married.
Because marriage
Right.
is a mirror.
Listen.
It is gonna reveal you more
100.
than it does them.
Yeah, bro.
You gonna learn about yourself. You're gonna
Look.
learn about your insecurities. Them traumas that you had, they're gonna come up. They're gonna be enlarged. Like
And
you,
that's hard.
and you have to deal with it.
That is
Yeah.
hard.
You have to deal with it.
So there was a, man, I should have wished I had my phone. I could pull up a picture. But there is a concept I learned in communication class,
Mm-hmm.
and it's called Jahar's window.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you imagine 4 window panes, and then like they have words on top of them, right?
Okay.
And so it's 4 panes. The top left pane is the known area. The top right pane is the hidden area. The bottom left is the unknown. No, I'm lying. It's seen, hidden, unseen, and unknown,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the seen pieces, and this is talking about us as people, and let's just say 25%. We'll just break it up into percentages. So what this is saying is that there's 25% of you that you see and people see,
Mm-hmm.
right? We Black.
Mm-hmm.
We all see that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Then there's 25% of you that is hidden.
Mm.
I know this, but you have no idea.
Mhm.
There's another 25% of us that is unseen. You see it, but I do not see it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, you got something on your nose. Handle that. Unseen. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
But then we have the unknown area. And the unknown piece of us is the piece that we don't see and other people don't see.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage is such an asset because
Yep.
marriage is refinement.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And in refinement, all the impurities are going to come to the top so they
Yes.
can be dealt with.
Yep.
Yeah.
In order to tap in and be able to be exposed to that unknown, you have to be under a lot of heat and a lot of pressure and a lot of stress and very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God for marriage.
No, for real.
Like, thank God for marriage.
Yeah.
Right? The purpose of marriage is not happiness, it's holiness.
Come on.
That's
And
it.
you can't, Jesus was holy.
Right.
And you can't be like Jesus without being crucified.
Yep. You can't.
It's not possible. And so when we look at this marriage thing, like it's so important to get your healing because if you don't get enough healing before you get in this, it's going to force you to get healing when you get in it.
Yep. Or you're gonna run.
100.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
I think of marriage like an airplane, right? And so before you get on the airplane, we got baggage claim.
Mm-hmm.
And there are signs and it says, hey, listen, your suitcase, your luggage, what you're bringing with you has to be no bigger than this and no heavier than this.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is, you're either going to have to remove things, pay more, or not get on this flight.
Mm-hmm. You only got 3 choices.
That's marriage. Hey, listen, your bags way too big and way too heavy for this plane ride.
Yeah.
So either you going to have to take stuff out before you get here, you're going to have to pay a whole lot more when you get here,
Mm-hmm.
or you just not going to be able to get on this plane.
That's a good
And
analogy.
bags already packed too.
Look,
Right.
They already
you made
packed.
the arrangements. You done scheduled everything. You picked out the dress, picked out the suit, the colors, but your bags is too heavy.
Ooh.
Your bags are too heavy. And so singleness, that's one of the blessings of being single if you're called to be married. It provides you an opportunity to get stuff out your bag.
Yep.
Everybody trying to get the bag. Let's get out of
Right.
the
Get
bag.
out the bag.
Like let's get stuff out the bag. Because you're wanting to go get on this flight. And for a while, I'm like, bro, this plane is so big. Why does it matter how big or heavy my stuff is? Because how big or heavy your luggage is going to throw off the weight and the balance of the plane, which could cause things to malfunction and this thing to crash. So marriages are crashing because you came in this thing with a whole lot more weight and bigger baggage than you should have. And here's the big issue with that when it comes to marriage, because I didn't know.
Yeah.
Unknown.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Not even just the unknown, the hidden.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that I didn't know, but there are things that I came in this marriage with that I knew, but I didn't tell you about. So we crashing over something that you didn't even know. Like you didn't even know.
It don't even have nothing to do with you.
It ain't got nothing to do with you.
Wow.
But that's what makes marriage hard.
Yeah.
We arguing about something that ain't got nothing to do with you. I got mama wounds,
Mama trauma.
and I'm as an example, and I'm using me for real. I got mama wounds. Mama used to cuss me out, talk to me crazy. Single parent, single mama, growing up 3 black boys, and we
She didn't
bad.
have time. She didn't have no time. She didn't have
Look,
time.
we bad. So we stressing her out in addition to life and relationships
Yeah.
stressing her out. She
Yeah.
bad. So I got yelled at and cussed out a lot in my marriage. Watch your tone when you talking to me. Hey, like, no, bro, don't talk to me like that. Or I'm gonna shut down.
Yeah.
And that ain't even got nothing to do with you.
Yep.
And everything to do with this unhealed wound.
Yep.
Right? So it's like you're mad at your partner for something that ain't got nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got some wounds that ain't been healed yet.
Yeah.
And now they the issue because they here. Bro, go get you a therapist and stop playing, bro.
Yeah.
And understand that it's okay to say your parents did a bad job.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
You talk about the rescue,
Uh-oh.
the rescuer, the attacker, and the victim. It's like you rescuing your parents.
Ooh.
And here's how we do it. Man, they did the best they could do. And it was bad.
Yep. Yeah.
The best you could do was trash.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't support me. There was no intimacy, no affection, no love, no nurturing. You did your best. You did because it's not you did the best you could do. You did the best you chose to do. You didn't want to change.
Woo.
You didn't want to work. You didn't want to grow. You didn't want to develop. So you did the best that you wanted to do, not the best that you could do. And I'm not about to make no excuse for you no more. What? No, you about to, no. And see, them be some of the conversations that I'll be having my clients have.
Eesh.
And it'd be uncomfortable.
I'm
But I got
sure.
it, man. But going back to what you said something earlier, Spoon, about how like, I think I said something about like the trauma and going to the places, basically like the domino effect of trauma
Yeah.
and how it affects like other people.
Yeah.
But it's like the same thing applies to healing.
Yeah.
One of my clients that I had them conversations, I realized she was navigating with some unforgiveness. Hey, write down all the people we got unforgiveness towards. All right, cool. Let's talk about them. Who's number one? All right, cool. These are multiple sessions. Who's number one? Okay, cool. What is the issue there? What happened? Okay, cool. How do you feel about that? Awesome. So are they safe or unsafe? What do you mean? If you were to have a conversation with them, is there any possibility for you to experience verbal, mental, emotional, or physical abuse? No. All right, cool. Let's go have this conversation. Transparent conversation.
Like you're sending her to go have it with that.
You're
person.
about to go have this conversation, right?
Yeah.
And this is your homework. So either you're gonna get an A or an F. It's like nursing school. Ain't no B, C, D. You either gonna get an A, we lived, or an F, you died.
Yeah.
Right? That's the
Yeah.
scores. And so here's the beautiful thing. I tell clients like, my goal is to help you change your relationship with your past so you can get your power back. This is how we do it, these conversations. Because here's the homework assignment. You're going to go have this authentic, transparent conversation with your mama, with your daddy, with whoever. And here's the key. You have to have no expectation of them. None. The only expectation is that in this is for you to be transparent about whatever you need to be transparent about.
Is it?
We're not expecting them to change. We're not expecting them to
That's
apologize.
good.
We're not expecting them to take ownership or be accountable. It's all about you saying what you need to say. Because we feel that. If you got that family member that always asks for money, when they come to talk to you, you feel the energy of
Yeah.
this Negro about to ask me for some
some
money.
Yeah.
So when they, hey, nephew, hey, niece,
Right.
what's going
It's-
on,
yep.
cuz? And you like, bro, I know, I feel the energy, bro. It's about,
Yeah.
same thing applies to conversations.
Mm-hmm.
If you go into a transparent conversation, navigating with an expectation of, I want you to apologize or say sorry, it's going to come out.
Yep.
And so there needs to be no expectation. And you just had this conversation and you just get out what you need to get out. And then at the end of it, let them know you forgive them. So I had a conversation with her daddy. Went great. She was like, man, I had no expectation. I said what I said. And then he went and he just started apologizing to me on his own. And he was like, it's funny that you say this because I was having a conversation with myself and I realized that I've been a great provider for my family, but I've never been a good father.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. So all right, cool. And now, so what's the relationship? So now we're talking more
Yeah.
and we're talking through other stuff and the relationship is better. Really? Okay, cool. Oh, and then I had a conversation. As a result of this conversation, it kind of changed some things in me. And now my child is acting different because I'm different. And then I had an interaction with her father, who we've had a very dysfunctional relationship with. And now our relationship is better. Then I had this conversation with my mom, another uncomfortable one, and now that is better. And then I had this friend that it was crazy. But I had a conversation with her, and now we ain't friends, but the coast is clear that we're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like healing domino effects.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, one, parents got to understand that they have a responsibility to be good parents.
Yeah.
Kids your kid didn't ask to be your kid.
Right.
You did what you needed to do to make you bear them.
You did.
Right? And so it's like, because of that, you got to understand as a parent, as you initiate and are intentional, well, parent, spouse, whatever, you got to make sure that you are intentional about getting your healing. Why? Because your healing is going to serve your house
Yep.
and everybody that you come in contact with.
Mm-hmm. Your healing is more than just for you.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That's good.
Mm-mm. You good, girl?
Yeah, I'm just marinating.
Look, I'm like, she got a lot on her mind.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, man, that's so good. I need to sign up.
You can sign
I
up.
need
Talk
to
to
get my
my
coins so I can
brother. Talk to
become
my
a
brother.
client.
Man, man, I feel like we could keep going.
100%.
yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Woo, we could, but we gon' when you have certain people, you can't give them too much. Episode just be thick like peanut butter.
You know what? That's
Crunchy
true.
peanut butter.
That's true. You said crunchy?
I like crunchy
Crunchy.
peanut butter.
Ew, you
And
do?
strawberry jelly.
I love a strawberry jelly, but a crunchy peanut butter.
Gots to.
Crunchy.
On your
Shame on
bread,
you if you
it
like
be
grape
tearing
jelly.
it be tearing your bread up when you put the crunchy peanut butter.
Because you don't put it on right.
You gotta have the right bread too.
Oh, okay.
And see, when I make my PB&Js, I put peanut butter on both pieces of bread,
And the jelly?
and then a little bit of jelly in the middle.
No.
And give me a cup of almond milk. I'm good. bro.
Man.
Good.
Man, so Carrington, you working with all these, you working with all these people and all this. How do you keep the balance of not bringing all of these different people in their relationships, keeping that separate from the home?
Yeah.
Because what a lot of people don't realize is with therapists, coaches, psychologists, psychiatrists, all of the people, in that field is like there's a lot of transference that can happen
100%.
in that. And
100%.
so on top of that, with us as believers, that's spiritual warfare
Yep.
in a lot of ways too. And so how do you keep the balance of that? Keeping work at work and home at home.
Got you. So one, I don't believe in balance.
Okay.
I believe in balancing.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
You never get to
100.
I'm
Okay.
with you. I'm
Right?
I
with
got
you.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
I got you.
But how do I navigate it? One, I'm very intentional about prioritizing me before I prioritize my family.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's why I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. People be like, bro, you crazy. I have to.
Yeah, you ain't no choice.
Because I need to get my reading in and I need to get my prayer walk in and I need to go hit that gym.
Mhm.
Right? So my self-care routine for myself plays a role in me not bringing the work, the conversations that I've had to my family.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, like I'm talking to God a lot. Like it's necessary when in this field to make sure that you're getting it out.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be to another therapist, to another coach, to somebody who is qualified and equipped to be able to hear what you got to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I do a lot of talking to God about it. And I just do a lot of praying, bro.
Yeah.
I'm very like, I do a lot of praying, but I think here's what the key is, because this is what just came to me. I'm just aware, bro.
Yeah.
I'm aware of how I influence the energy of my house.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible called us light and salt.
Mm-hmm.
So we supposed to shine everywhere we go, but then also we supposed to add, we not even supposed to, we add flavor everywhere we go.
Yeah.
And so I'm very intentional about making sure that, hey, as the slap your mama seasoning,
Okay.
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
You feel me? I'm gonna
Mhm.
slap your mama.
Okay.
As a slap your mama seasoning, that
Yeah.
I'm bringing that instead of Tony Satchery's.
Mm-hmm.
No disrespect to Tony Satchery's,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
But it's not slap your mom.
it ain't slap your mama,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like I'm very intentional about making sure that, like, I'm just aware, like I'm self-aware, bro. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
this is what it is. So I have this session and I leave it here.
Yeah.
Like, I guess how I'm seeing it in my head is like, I love my family too much to give them this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love them too much to do it. So it's like, I won't even allow I won't let myself do it.
Yeah.
And I know people be having like super deep stuff and routine stuff, but for me, it's
Yeah.
like, that's really it for me, bro.
That's
It's like,
all it needs to be.
I just don't want them to, because I'll be hearing I've heard some
I've had-
heartbreaking things.
Mm-hmm.
I can only
Yeah.
imagine.
And it's like, why would I'm not about to let this even influence the rest of my day.
Yeah.
Like, that bothered me, but I'm about to get off this call, I'm about to pray, and I'm about to go on with my business.
Yeah.
Because I have to. I can't sit here.
Yeah.
So that's how I navigate it, bro.
Yeah. Nah, and that's good because again, it goes back to the whole accountability.
Yeah.
You're accountable to that person without rescuing them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
You're accountable to them because you're not only providing that service, you're praying for them, all that
Yeah.
other stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm not your God.
I'm not. I'm not.
So I love it. I love the fact that, it's simple. It don't have to be anything
No,
super
it doesn't.
crazy, super
Yeah.
deep. Like, hey man, look, I'm accountable to them during this time and I'm praying for them and I'm gonna leave it at that.
And you take
Yeah.
care of you.
And
You take care of you. That
With
morning
that-
stuff
yeah.
is important.
you have to take care of yourself.
It's a sin not to. Greatest commandment, love God with all your heart, mind, soul, strength. Equally as important is to love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not loving yourself properly, you
Yep.
can't love your neighbor properly.
Mhm.
And if you're not loving your neighbor properly, then what are you doing? Because
Mhm.
Jesus said it's the greatest commandment
That's
or
good.
equal to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's that.
I love it. So, oh man, how can people find you, bro?
Yeah.
Like, cause I'm trying to sign up. I'm trying to
Boy, y'all funny.
sign up, man.
People can find me in Dallas, Texas, right? No, Instagram at the Carrington Brown,
Mm-hmm.
TikTok at the Carrington Brown, www.thecarringtonbrown.com. And listen real quick, I didn't choose the Carrington Brown. The Carrington Brown chose me.
Okay.
When I tried to get Carrington Brown on Instagram, it said the only thing available was the Carrington Brown and Carrington Brown 07236.
Yeah, we can't
So,
do that one.
That one didn't choose me. The Carrington Brown chose me. So that's why I got the Carrington Brown. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Man, and so what services do you provide?
Man, I provide individual coaching, couples coaching, speaking engagements. I do 3-hour sessions. I do all-day sessions.
Yeah.
I'll have a couple fly in with, like, come on, fly in.
Yeah.
Fly in, spend a day with me. All right, cool. Bye. Right? Like, I'm really at a point, bro, where from a service perspective, I'm providing what people need. And some people need, hey, Carrington, we need to come spend like 3 days with you.
Mm-hmm.
So I provide it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really providing whatever people need in this season, bro. So, but primarily individual coaching, couples coaching. If you got marital problems, doing that, handling that. I officiate weddings. I do premarital.
Yeah.
Anything related to cultivating people into who they need to be to thrive in marriage and life, I do that.
That's you.
That's it.
I do that.
Yep. Whole person growth.
Man, that's what it's about,
That's
bro.
it. Man, appreciate you so much. Oh, go ahead.
What do you have any events coming up or anything, any way that people can support you?
If you want to support me, just pray for me.
Okay.
If you want to support me, just pray for me. And I tell clients all the time, like, my primary mission is to get myself out of business, put myself out of business. Like, because if I'm not needed, that means that people are healed and healthy and whole and doing relationships at a high level. So if you really want to support me, go do your work, whether with me or somebody else. Like, go do your work so that the world and the trajectory of it can change for the better.
Yeah.
That's how you can support me.
Man, brother.
Love your heart, man.
Ah, man. See, that's why that's my dog. I told you. That's my dog, man. That's my dog. Ben, we appreciate you so much, man, for coming and hanging out with us, man, dropping gems, making people mad, all of that.
Right.
I know you done pissed off a couple people.
Right.
You know, talking about people's trauma and stuff. And
bro,
just go get healed, bro. Just heal. Just go get your healing. Like, what we talking about, man? What we talking about?
What you doing?
What is you doing with your life?
Yeah, I appreciate y'all for the privilege. I see this as like the same way I see a pastor. It's like, as a pastor, you're responsible for your congregation, and you're going to have a conversation with God about who's talking to your people.
Yep.
And so I see this the same way. Like, y'all have a responsibility and going to be held accountable for who's on this platform and who's speaking to y'all community. So I'm grateful at the privilege. I call it, it's a privilege. I'm grateful at the privilege of being able to sit on y'all couch, be in y'all home, have this conversation with y'all people.
Yeah.
Grateful, man.
I appreciate that, man. Because I be praying like, all right, now, God, this person will be good, but I don't know if they.
Yeah. The conversations we have to have, we be like, no, they ain't. I can't do that one.
Can't do that one.
I love them.
Too iffy.
I'll hang out with you, but
I might go somewhere that we ain't trying to go.
Y'all would even make us go viral, I'm sure. But
some stuff ain't aligned in your life.
We can't do
that.
We can't co-sign on that one.
Yeah.
Can't do it. So, man, once again, we appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, dog. Love you to death, man.
Look, part 2 coming soon with the wife.
Yeah, we're gonna
make that happen.
We're gonna spin the block with Ashley.
Yes.
For sure. How you feeling, wife?
I'm full, man.
Yeah.
I'm full.
You full?
Yeah.
So you ain't gonna eat?
Oh, baby, don't get it twisted.
Oh, okay.
I stay hungry. I'm spiritually full.
Yeah.
You know?
I got you. Yeah, it was good, man. It's always good to hear from good people.
Yeah, for sure.
And whatnot. So yeah, y'all. If Carrington didn't make you mad, I hope y'all okay. Don't cry. Well, if you're in the car, listen, Apple, whatever, Spotify. I hope you do cry in the car. It's kind of get you started. But holla at my man Carrington so he can get you right and he can walk with you. I trust him. And I put it this way. If I was going through or if I needed anything, I would hire my brother. So I trust him with my life. So I definitely can co-sign on him. For sure. And I trust him with you for sure. So until next episode, man, we love y'all. Y'all be easy. See y'all next time. Peace. Thank y'all so much for tapping in with the Left Hand Gang podcast.
Be sure to follow, like, subscribe, and rate us.
And lastly, please don't forget to check out our website. That's lefthandgang.co for merch and ways to stay connected.
Catch you next episode.
Gang.